What's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join the crew. We've got some big news to talk about today, and if you're a fan of the Dallas Cowboys, you're going to want to hear this. In a move that's got some fans buzzing and others raising eyebrows, the Cowboys have made a sneaky but potentially huge addition to their defensive line. The Dallas Cowboys have just signed defensive lineman Solomon Thomas, a former 3rd overall pick in the 2017 NFL Draft. Now, while this signing might seem a bit under the radar to some, it has the potential to be one of the most underrated moves of the offseason. So, let's take a deep dive into what this signing means for the Cowboys and why this could be a key acquisition for their defense in 2025. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of what Thomas brings to the Cowboys, let's first talk about the deal itself. The Cowboys were able to secure Solomon Thomas on a relatively low-risk, 1-year contract. The specifics of the deal haven't been fully disclosed yet, but reports suggest that the Cowboys didn't break the bank for him. This makes a lot of sense, considering that Thomas has had an up-and-down career in the NFL. By signing him to a 1-year deal, Dallas is taking a chance on a player with a lot of untapped potential, but not committing long-term if things don't work out. And that's exactly what you want when you're making a move like this in free agency. It's a calculated risk that could pay big dividends if Thomas can regain some of the form that made him such a highly regarded prospect back when he entered the league. Solomon Thomas was selected 3rd overall by the San Francisco 49ers in 2017, and there were high expectations for him. He was considered one of the most dynamic defensive prospects in that draft, known for his speed, strength, and ability to disrupt offenses. The 49ers were hoping he would become a cornerstone of their defensive line, and for a while, it looked like he might live up to that billing. His rookie season saw some positive flashes, with Thomas recording 5 sacks and 41 tackles, showing that he could be a solid contributor in the trenches. However, as is often the case in the NFL, things didn't go according to plan. Over the next few years, Thomas dealt with injuries and struggled to find consistency. Despite his physical gifts, he never fully lived up to the hype. In 2021, the 49ers chose not to pick up his 5th-year option, making him a free agent. From there, Thomas spent 2 seasons with the Las Vegas Raiders, where his role was much more limited. While he didn't put up huge numbers, he still showed that he had some value as a rotational player. Now, you might be asking, why would the Cowboys, who already have a strong defensive line with players like DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons, bring in a player who has been somewhat inconsistent in recent years? Well, the answer to that lies in the potential Solomon Thomas still possesses. When you watch his tape, you can see the flashes of the player he could be. At 6'2" and 280 pounds, Thomas has the size to play both defensive tackle and defensive end in a 3-4 or 4-3 defensive scheme. His burst off the line of scrimmage is impressive, and while he might not have the best sack numbers, he can collapse the pocket and create pressure, forcing quarterbacks to make quick decisions. His versatility is also a major selling point for the Cowboys. In today's NFL, defenses that can be creative with their personnel are the ones that succeed. If defensive coordinator Dan Quinn can use Thomas in different alignments, whether that's as a defensive tackle in passing situations or as an end in a 3-4 look, it could give the Cowboys' defense even more unpredictability. One of the biggest strengths of Solomon Thomas is his ability to rush the passer. He has a quick first step, and while he might not have the elite edge rushing ability of a player like Micah Parsons, he can still contribute in that area. He's shown the ability to penetrate the pocket from the interior, which can be valuable when paired with a strong edge rush. If Thomas can develop some consistency in this area, he could become a legitimate threat on passing downs, especially in the Cowboys' defensive scheme. Thomas has also shown the ability to defend the run, which is crucial for a team like Dallas that needs to stop the ground game to succeed. In this regard, he could complement the Cowboys' other defensive linemen and create a formidable front seven. But beyond his physical traits, there's another important factor at play here: the Cowboys' defensive scheme under Dan Quinn. Since Quinn took over as the defensive coordinator, we've seen a shift towards a more aggressive, versatile, and dynamic defensive front. Quinn has done wonders with players like Micah Parsons, who has blossomed into one of the most feared pass rushers in the league, and DeMarcus Lawrence, who continues to be a steady presence on the edge. The key to Quinn's success has been his ability to adapt his defensive scheme to his players' strengths. Solomon Thomas could thrive in this kind of system. With Quinn's ability to maximize players' abilities and his creativity in creating mismatches, Thomas could finally have the opportunity to break out and live up to his potential. Furthermore, Thomas provides the Cowboys with much-needed depth along the defensive line. While Dallas has several standout players like Parsons and Lawrence, the team could use another solid contributor to rotate in and keep the pass rush fresh. In a long season, injuries are inevitable, and having players like Thomas who can step in and make plays will be crucial for the Cowboys' defense. In 2022, Dallas ranked among the top defenses in the league, and much of that was due to their relentless pass rush. But as we know, it's hard to keep that level of pressure up for an entire season without depth. Solomon Thomas could help maintain that pressure and ensure that opposing quarterbacks don't have any time to breathe in the pocket. While some might see this signing as a low-risk move, it's one that could pay off significantly if Thomas is able to reach his ceiling. It's not uncommon for players who have struggled to find consistency in their careers to revive their careers under the right circumstances. And for a player like Solomon Thomas, joining a defense that's already strong, but still looking to add another playmaker, could be the perfect situation for him to get back on track. If he can stay healthy and buy into the system, he could be a key piece of a Super Bowl-caliber defense. The Cowboys' defense was already one of the best in the NFL last season, but adding a player like Thomas gives them even more firepower. So, what does this signing mean for the Cowboys in the grand scheme of things? Well, for one, it shows that the front office is serious about continuing to build a championship-caliber defense. Dallas has been one of the top teams in the NFC for the past few years, but they haven't been able to get over the hump. The defense has been a major reason for their success, but adding more depth and playmaking potential on the defensive line could be the difference maker. The Cowboys' offense, with Dak Prescott and the playmakers they have, can put up points, but in today's NFL, defense wins championships. By adding Solomon Thomas, the Cowboys are not just resting on their laurels. They're continuing to build a defense that can compete with the best in the league. Of course, only time will tell if this move will pay off. But given the potential Solomon Thomas has in the situation he's stepping into, there's reason for optimism. If he can live up to his potential in Dallas, the Cowboys will have added another weapon to their already fearsome defensive front. And when you have players like Parsons, Lawrence, and Thomas all coming after the quarterback, it's hard to see many offenses being able to handle that kind of pressure for an entire game. To sum it up, the Cowboys' signing of Solomon Thomas is a low-risk, high-reward move that could provide significant value to the team in 2025. With his versatility, pass rushing ability, and potential to thrive in Dan Quinn's system, Thomas has the chance to resurrect his career in Dallas. This move could be the missing piece the Cowboys need to bolster their defense and make another deep playoff run. So, Cowboys Nation, what do you think? Is Solomon Thomas the final piece to a Super Bowl winning defense, or just another gamble that doesn't pay off? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss any Cowboys news. As always, thanks for tuning in, and go Cowboys!